Hello everybody and welcome back to LELB Society. I'm Dr. Hariri, the creator of LELB Society, and in this presentation I'm going to talk about social presence in online learning with 10 best practices. So I'm going to provide you with the link to this article in the description area so that you can just go there and click on the link to be able to access this free article and study that on your own in more depth. So here is the table of contents, and as you know, social presence is one of the building blocks of LELB Society, and also it was the topic of my PhD thesis. So what is social presence? Social presence is described as learners' ability to perceive other learners as real communicators, commenters, or peers in the social context of the online community. This feeling of connectedness is genuinely the driving force behind taking active and responsive roles in education based on learner autonomy. And social presence can optimize interaction patterns among students in online learning communities, promoting interdependency or social autonomy. It means students can learn from each other and not necessarily from the teacher. This special opportunity to learn from each other can augment learners' academic satisfaction and a sense of belongingness or belonging to the social context. And the three pillars of social presence are emotional expression, open communication or interactivity, and also group cohesion. Also, I should inform you that there are so many links here, hyperlinks, and actually since I have highlighted them, the links have disappeared. So, why is social presence in online learning important? As mentioned earlier, online students should be perceived as real communicators, and to achieve this fulfillment, social presence must be realized in one way or another. For instance, social presence could lead to group cohesion, which is the ability to develop a group identity in order to communicate meaningfully. As a result, group cohesion can account for constructivist learning. And so the caption of this image is how to generate and optimize social presence in online learning. Constructivism in education is described as learners' ability to construct knowledge actively and responsively instead of taking or copying the information passively. So, the meaningful experience of constructivist learning through social presence is based on collaborative learning, and also welcoming students' feedback to increase social presence in online learning. The caption of this photo. Okay. Exchanging feedback in an interactive manner demands that online students be emotionally ready to share their ideas, experiences, and findings with their peers who might be so far away or remote from them physically, thousands of miles away. Therefore, keeping online students motivated enough to stay in touch with each other in a virtual environment seems to be at the hands of social presence. So, roundtable activity and social presence. Roundtable is our core educational activity at LELB Society to practice both synchronous and asynchronous learning in a completely collaborative fashion. So in each roundtable, our English and Persian students study some assigned materials as an out-of-class activity based on flipped learning. The assigned materials have already been taught with our teachers' embedded lectures and videos, which is actually typical or symptomatic of flipped learning. And also roundtable activity to account for social presence in online learning through both synchronous and asynchronous learning, the caption of this image. So using our asynchronous channels of communication such as interactive comment forums or comment boxes and English and Persian forums, our students leave at least one fresh question and one response to the existing questions asynchronously as an out-of-class activity. Finally, in our synchronous classes as an in-class activity, both students and teachers hold an informed discussion on the questions and responses in the comment forums or comment boxes and forums to practice negotiation of meaning. So, negotiation of meaning through social presence. To encourage L2 learners to practice negotiation of meaning, content-based instruction should be put to use because the assigned materials and lessons should be interesting and useful enough for online students. So if you don't know what CBI or content-based instruction is, I'm going to just share the link in the description area and you can just click on that to study another article. To realize social presence in online learning, much attention should be paid to the carefully selected subject matter. These selected themes and topics need to be of great value to the students of the third millennium. Content-based instruction to promote more social presence in online learning. It's almost impossible to promote social presence in online learning through negotiation of meaning based on boring and useless subject matter. On the contrary, meaningful learning and constructivist learning would certainly trigger more negotiation of meaning to increase more social presence and interactivity. This negotiation of meaning should be held both synchronously in online classes and asynchronously in the common forums and forums to develop social presence in online learning. On the other hand, the selected topics and themes should be challenging and thought-provoking to stimulate asynchronous communication in the discussion boards and common forums. You can study the popular tags with a hyperlink here that are used in our English and Persian lessons at LELB Society, because LELB Society is a bilingual academy of English and Persian, to become more familiar with the way we employ content-based instruction to support meaningful learning and constructivism in online education in our bilingual academy. So, synchronous plus asynchronous learning equals social presence. In our global village, connected through the internet and advanced technology, online education does not necessarily occur synchronously in online classes. It is utterly advisable to tap into an amalgamation or combination of both synchronous plus asynchronous learning in any online community to establish and augment social presence in online learning. After all, the essence of social presence is all about the art of nurturing connectedness and interactivity. And the caption of this image: practicing both synchronous and asynchronous learning to realize social presence in online learning. To account for interactivity and connectedness, asynchronous learning turns out to be thoroughly pragmatic. For the sake of clarification, in our online bilingual academy, there have been over 5,400 interactive comments posted by our students and teachers at the bottom of our English and Persian lessons or posts. As stated earlier, our roundtable activity has been incredibly successful in increasing social presence in online learning through integrating synchronous learning in live classes with asynchronous learning. On the other hand, the significance of synchronous learning in the classes or webinars with video conferencing should not be overlooked. Bear in mind that your students might live thousands of miles away from you and each other. If they are conscious of this remoteness, they might find it difficult to develop a sense of belongingness to your online community, which is pivotal to the development of social presence. Video conferencing in synchronous learning to promote more social presence in online learning. Compared to chatting, phone calls, emailing, and commenting, video conferencing and video calls are more successful in establishing nonverbal communication among online students as they can see each other, their facial expressions, postures, gestures, and in a nutshell, body language. As a result, online students can easily perceive each other as real communicators in the social context, which is another pillar of social presence. Intimacy and immediacy in social presence. To develop and promote social presence in online learning, the following two aspects of interaction patterns must be taken into account: intimacy and immediacy. Intimacy refers to learners' willingness to share personal experiences in the online community. That is based on a feeling of camaraderie and belongingness that should exist for social presence to develop and grow. On the other hand, immediacy in interactivity refers to the degree of latency in responding to the asynchronous comments and questions. And what is the caption of this image? Immediacy and intimacy, two important aspects of interactivity to develop social presence in online learning. Okay, a higher degree of immediacy is essential for the development of social presence in online learning, because if online students notice that their comments are not responded in a timely manner, they might feel that they are so remote from each other. And the sense of connectedness in real communication could easily be questioned. Regarding this issue from another perspective, college practitioners and online teachers should not practice immediacy to a very high degree. Why? Because too much immediacy from the part of the teacher could block and discourage student-student interactivity. This is something that Dr. Muhammad Hussein Haririas, that is me, the author of this article and the creator of LELB Society, understood in his PhD thesis on interactivity and social presence. As a matter of fact, students should be encouraged to learn from each other interactively and asynchronously with the facilitative influence of the teacher. This controlled and intentional teacher's immediacy pattern is in fact based on scaffolding in education, in which the teacher mindfully steps back and encourages the students to learn from each other on their own. Students who are educated in this approach tend to be more autonomous and cooperative over time. Collaborative flipped learning and social presence. By solely flipping language classes, you cannot necessarily develop social presence in online learning. That's where collaborative flipped learning comes into view. This modified type of flipped learning focuses on the asynchronous interaction of students taking place in the common forums and discussion boards that appear at the bottom of assigned videos and lectures. The roundtable activity, which was explained above, plays an important role in implementing collaborative flipped learning. This is the screenshot I have taken from one of our roundtables. As you can see, actually, there have been a lot of questions and replies and comments. Actually, this portrays or illustrates just one section of the actually roundtable. Roundtable activity to encourage collaborative flipped learning. Since the log or history of comments is accessible, these discussions about embedded videos or lectures would be ongoing. That is to say, new students could join the discussions anytime, anywhere. By enabling nested or threaded commenting, comments and replies will become easily distinguishable. This is because replies to the existing comments will automatically be indented. As a call practitioner, it is essential to optimize the comment boxes or forums to provide a better user experience or UX. Authenticity in learning and social presence. Developing social presence in online learning cannot be taken for granted. Certainly, one of its ingredients is student motivation to carry on learning both individually and en masse or collectively. As mentioned earlier, negotiation of meaning based on content-based instruction will immerse students in challenging and interesting subject matter. Learning vocabulary in context with images is another technique to provide authenticity in education. At LELB Society, our students can access over 2,800 advanced vocabulary in context in real and authentic context with images. Learn vocabulary in context with images to account for authenticity in language learning. Furthermore, using multimedia resources, including images, videos, text-to-speech functionality, podcasts, etc., is another important aspect that should not be overlooked. Bear in mind that today's students could get bored so easily if you feed them only with plain text. To feel that they are socially connected, online students need to see each other from time to time via video conferencing, as I mentioned before. Likewise, they should see each other's avatars while commenting in the asynchronous channels of communication. We are using WordPress to just give assignments to our students and actually to provide an online community, and we have enabled avatars, and we suggest you do the same thing in order, if actually social presence is important to you. Seeing each other with real profile photos, not artificial actually ones, and real names. Learner autonomy and motivation. Online teachers and educators need to encourage students to take part in language learning actively and responsively. One way to fulfill this objective is negotiated curriculum. Negotiated curriculum is described as engaging students in developing the curriculum, setting assignments, and making assessments. So they are encouraged to take active roles in all these tasks. Negotiated curriculum is a practical method to exercise democracy in education, although not all students are culturally ready to acknowledge its efficacy, which is actually one of its drawbacks. I personally have some experience that when I try to engage my students in negotiated curriculum, they just question my teaching methodology, and they say, you are the teacher and you should just tell me what to study, how to study, and so on. So this is my personal experience. Online teachers and CAL practitioners are supposed to treasure students' opinions and feedback in one way or another. At LELB Society, our students can express their feedback freely in our feedback box forum. We have specified one particular forum to gather and also welcome our students' feedback. When students realize that their ideas carry weight in determining the course of the academic plans and policy in their online community, they'll develop a stronger sense of belongingness, which is crucial for increasing social presence in online learning. Additionally, we have recorded and archived over 70 presentations in English and Farsi given by our students with their consent and permission. Thanks to portfolio assessment, all these presentations, articles, topics in forums, comments, etc. are archived in the LELB Society blog, while our students are the real authors of these posts. In other words, LELB Society is actually a wiki whose content is developed by its team of authors, teachers, and students as a multi-author blog or website on WordPress. So here is our guest posting guidelines for the LELB Society blog to increase social presence in online learning. With regard to this type of portfolio assessment at LELB Society, all students, teachers, authors, etc. will grow more motivation to develop their best to our online community to improve their own resume or CV in the form of their profile page that lists all their academic contributions. Needless to say, all these contributions come with multimedia and are linked to each other based on integrative call to increase user engagement in our WordPress membership site. Okay, we come to the end of this presentation on social presence in online learning. I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with your friends. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.